Hello, hello, hi. Welcome on in. We have a new chat box. Do you see it? Anyway, I decided I wanted something that has a background, but is it kind of broken or is it just me? Hold on. Hmm. Let me fix that. Hold on. Okay, there we are. Wait, let me fix that here as well. Sorry, it's new, so oh wait, never mind. It's fine. Sorry about that. Anyway, welcome on in, guys. We can finish this model today. I did continue a little bit. I was trying to do other work as well. But before stream started, I was like, I could knock some out. So yeah, I finished the eyes and the mouth. And it has a tongue. I think once I finish the head looking left and right, up and down, throw in some physics, it should be good. I considered doing both of the horns in one deformer, but that might complicate things. Hmm. So I guess we're having a very quiet, cozy stream today. But I don't like how this bends. I think I was just overthinking it. Hi, Akaza. How's it going? We're actually being productive today. We'll see how long that lasts. Good, I joined a chat yesterday and Feather asked me how the F I was there. Hey, it's a small world. But how did that go? I actually had a similar interaction yesterday. Because I was, we raided into Katana's stream and I was kind of just chilling there. And then he pops in and then started telling him about, what's it called? That Kingdom game, I forgot what it's called. And yeah, it was talking about the roleplay and everything. It's like, yeah, one of the chatters, Ordikai, and a few of the others, they were role playing. And then I just chime in from the shadows. He didn't realize I was there, and I was like, he sold out the kingdom for $3. I needed his crimes to be known to the people. Went well, made a creature in Bloodborne and called it Feather. Wait, you can make creatures? I thought Bloodborne was, about killing things, not making them. Then again, I've never played Bloodborne, so my hunt is the creature. Oh. Yeah, I'm not too sure what the lore is there. I know the hunters are kind of cursed with the same magic that is cursing other people or something like that. I mean, the creature in character creator. Oh, okay. I didn't know that was a thing. The one thing about character creation in most games, I feel like I spend way too much time building the character rather than actually playing the game. And then, the first helmet I find, first hood, immediately put it on. Any character creation, completely irrelevant. I think that's a pretty common thing that happens. I think one of the few games where that's not really a factor is something like Baldur's Gate. Because even if you get cool armor, you can always just there's a setting you can just click on it where your armor becomes invisible, so you can admire your own character. I make my characters monsters. Oh, I guess there's some poetry there, or something poetic there. Is Bloodborne worth playing? But it's a Souls-like game, and I'm not the biggest fan of them. I think there's that element of high risk, you get to lose everything, die super easily, then, I'm not too fond of. It's only on PS4. Yeah, I don't have one. I used to. I sold it in anticipation of PS5. And then while waiting for PS5 to come out, I realized I just didn't miss the PlayStation at all and just kept the money. Bloodborne's very far. Unfortunately, PlayStation only. Oh, yeah. I mean, emulators do exist, so. I've never tried. I've never tried one though. I've been thinking about it for PlayStation 3 because I miss Little Big Planet. It plays in backward compatibility but still runs at 30 FPS. Oh. Well, at least that's one good feature about the PS5. But I guess it's a necessity because if they released the PS5 and didn't have backward compatibility, they basically have no games, at least when they first released. Because I remember when it first came out, there was basically like no PS5 games. They were like a couple, but that was about it. If you're having trouble killing dogs in Bloodborne, you can just shoot them. I feel like that advice applies to like a lot of things in life. Also, I don't know if my voice sounds tired. I wish I had more games. PS5 has one game that I want to play. I just don't care enough to justify PS5 cost. Yeah. I hate exclusives. Without exclusives, no one would buy consoles. Everyone will just buy PCs, and yeah. Even the people who love controllers, right? They'll just buy a PC, hook it up to the TV, connect a wireless controller, have the exact same experience for probably a lower cost, and yeah. Handhelds are a different story, but I'm talking about the consoles that, like the big ones, like, PS5, Xbox, etc. Yeah, I don't know why they're crazy expensive. Like, with that cost, you can just get a really good gaming computer, and you can do more than just game on it. PS5 for me has Doom, Dark Ages, Borderlands 4, and Demon Souls. Wait, is Borderlands a... No, Borderlands is not exclusive. I'm sorry, I was thinking that for a second, and I was like, wait a minute. Neither is Doom? Oh, okay. Yeah, there is no way. Actually, I remember seeing people streaming Doom, so yeah. No, wait, but people can also stream, like, their console games. Okay, yeah. Just checking. You need a capture card? Yeah. I momentarily forgot those existed. Because I do see some people, they stream, like, Switch games. And, it's a Switch. I love Doom and Borderlands. They're my favorite FPS game series. Doom seemed fun. I loved Borderlands too. I still have to play it, like, again. There's also a method doing dual PC stream setup. Oh, yeah. I think that's, Hold on, I hear something scratching at the window. No, I think it's just one of my cats. Was it though? I don't know. Maybe it's demons. Who cares? I. Yeah. Speaking of dual PC stream setup, I think it also causes like a lot of scoff if technical support is not something you have or you're not a very technical person. Because I do see a lot of people who do have like the dual PC setup kind of struggle. Like for example, they're trying to capture like audio from this thing, but it's impossible because it's on like another device and yada yada yada. I think it just takes a lot more planning. You've added additional points of failures? Exactly. I feel if you have like how do you say this? Like those crazy large models. I'm talking like how do you say this? Like 15K pixel resolution, like of the model file, the art file. Then maybe one PC can't handle everything, like streaming the model and this and that. Other than that, I don't really see the point of like a dual PC setup. I feel like it's overkill. If they are like pros to it, I'm not sure what they are. Like, sure, you can get like maybe you can run games at like higher settings because you only need to focus on, running the game on one computer and then streaming is handled by the other one. The way the games are poorly optimized these days needs to be more frequently. Yeah. For example, Wildmender is one of them. Even though the graphics are like pretty poor, well, not poor, just simple. The more you play, the more water that enters like the world and everything, the more it lags, and kind of sucks. Don't throw a brick at me. Ow. Okay, I didn't dodge in time. I feel like in the OG gaming days, right? So many tricks and so many little optimization tricks were needed simply because how do you say this? Like you were very limited with like the consoles, like the cartridges, discs. For example, like a PS1, you only had so much memory you can shove onto the disc. So, you have to be creative, optimize here and there, and you have to make it run very smoothly. Whereas these days, Ryan, people just like, oh, this thing is like a 500 GB game. It could be optimized down to 100 GB, but that's a lot of work, and we have a schedule to keep. Let's just push it out. So yeah, I played games that take 99% of my GPU by themselves, so they would have to be scaled back to stream. Oh yeah. Ori isn't hitting the circle button. Yeah, because I have a keyboard. I don't have a controller. You also using specialized CPUs and custom game engines. Oh. Ow. I wasn't ready for that. Or now a lot of them use Unreal Engine 5. They don't understand how to optimize. Yeah, I feel like they just they just throw whatever looks nice at the bricks hurt. Oh, I need a dodge button. The way I move like this, yeah. What was I saying again? Yeah, I feel like people just kind of throw things together and be like, it looks pretty. It runs on my machine, and then they just push it. We tried eating the bricks. No, I don't think they're very nutritional. I feel like on one hand, you can kind of how do you say this? You can kind of forgive the overworked game devs for skipping the process of optimizing the game because they usually put under like a lot of unrealistic deadlines. I'm talking like the big corpos, AAA games, that kind of stuff, right? But at the same time, you're getting a product that is unfinished and half baked. So I don't know. See, optimization is very hard, and one logging statement in a bad area of code can cause a performance hit of 5%. Oh. Yeah, and if it's a massive game, it adds up. But you gotta hit that Dark Souls dodge. Is this button free? No, it's being used or something. What about this one? Okay. Hold on. I'm making a dodge button right now. Give me a second. Actually, I don't need this. I'm talking about the helmet. Dodge. There we go. Now we can dodge quickly. I've had to request time to optimize my code in the past. I can imagine that's if your boss is not if they're not a techie person, it might be a bit hard to like explain to them. As you know, they'll look at it and be like, but it works. What is this optimization? Run better? Yeah, but that costs time, and time is money. We can just send it now, you know? Isn't TF2 powered by the JPEG of a coconut? Yeah, I saw that story. There's just like a JPEG of a coconut inside the game files, and no one knows who put it there or why it exists, but if you delete it, the game just doesn't work. So they kind of just leave it in. I like Team Fortress 2. I used to play it back in the day. I love the spy. Basically, my strat was I get that watch that it recharges when you're invisible, right? Because the invisible ability for the spy is limited by time. I have one of the watches where if you turn invisible, it only drains when you move, and when you stand still, it recharges. So you can, in theory, be invisible forever. So what I do is I use it. I go all the way to the back of the enemy bases, like behind their lines. You know, there's like the front line of the war, and everyone's fighting. I go all the way around, and then I just knife people. I stab one person, run, and I hide. I wait till the heat dies down, go back, stab another one. Because not only am I killing them and everything, I'm also distracting them, and now they live in fear of being stabbed in the back, so they lose their focus on fighting in the front, you know? They end up fighting a war on two fronts. I was more distraction than actual damage. But yeah, I remember I used to have a lot of fun doing that. Ooh, I was looking at a potential job, Ryan, and I was looking more for like the technical sales thing, because I like keeping a toe in the tech side, but I like yapping to people more because it's a lot easier, and yeah, I think it pays more. So one of the people like I was talking to, and they're like, okay, we'll need this, and while talking to them, they're like, okay, you'll be doing this, you'll be doing that, and then they start going on into like what they need programmed and all that stuff. I'm like, this is one of those places where they get to me to do like 3, 4 jobs and only pay me like one salary. So I'm like, I don't think so. I wish Silence the Voices actually had a 12% chance of me hitting myself. I have no idea what that means. Having a tongue that sticks out really complicates things. Silence the Voices is one of Krieg's skills, while it gives 250% melee damage while having 12% chance of me hitting myself unless I actually need to melee something to live, then it's a okay. Makes sense. I didn't realize we're talking about a Borderlands. Should I do a Borderlands stream? Nah, I think I'll keep that for myself. It's fun and all, but hmm. I don't know. I find how do you say this? I don't know how I feel about streaming single player games. Cuz here's my dilemma. Sure it's fun and all, but I kind of tend to focus on the game a lot and forget to look at chat. So it's kind of just like me playing and, all that. But at the same time, I would probably enjoy the game more playing it solo without like, thinking about stream. I feel like the only exception is if I'm playing like with someone. Borderlands can be multiplayer if you have friends. That's a big if to ask for. Last I heard, they added a kernel level anti-cheat to the older game. Oh yeah. I remember... Yeah, now that you mention it, I do remember hearing something about that and people were kind of upset. I just play Borderlands single because I don't have friends. Don't gotta word it like that. Friends are overrated. You should get a cat. At that level, they can spy on unencrypted memory. Yeah. Kind of puts me off from wanting to play it, but... What do I even have here that's you? Ow. No, I have like my business stuff here on this PC. That sounds like a risk. Just have to use a clean PC. I feel like if I have like a proper... Because right now the room I'm staying in, kind of small, and I view it as semi-temporary, you know, that kind of deal. If I had like a more permanent place and had like a more permanent setup, I think I would actually just invest in... Yeah, just get a second monitor. So I get like a new monitor so my second PC can have one. And then this will just be stream stuff and gaming stuff. A reason for dual streaming. Fair enough. How often are people caught for spying through a kernel level anti-cheat? I can't get a cat, my dad's allergic. Well, just get a new dad. Problem solved. Duh. Like my dad, he's Gandalf. But think about the cat. Getting caught is hard, but if they ever get compromised, then you, So is it worth getting Borderlands? Well, we'll see. Fingers crossed they remove it in the future. Do they only have it in the older games, or is it something they've added in all of them? You know what? I'm curious. They just added it recently. Kernel level anti-cheat. I'm just reading it here. But yeah, actually, this thing has a fair point. They're like, oh, it's for anti-cheat, but the game doesn't have PvP, so who really cares if they cheat? I think it was 3, but yeah, I'm seeing the AI is like, no, it does not have this thing. Mm, I don't think 4 has kernel level anti cheat. Ah, well. Fingers crossed, I don't get robbed if I decide to play it, so. They won't say if 4 will right until before it gets released. Yeah. I feel if they say it early, it gives people time to complain and pressure them to change it. But if they're like, okay, the game is out, by the way, it has this, people will just buy it anyway. They don't want more bad press? Yeah. Why can't people just be decent? This is why we need to establish a dictatorship where I am in charge. My first order of business. What is it called? Executive order. Ban kernel level anti-cheat. What else would I do if I was a dictator? And had like absolute power. Uninstalled Roblox from the internet. Yeah, we just don't need that. Bring back Club Penguin. And that'll be the new Roblox. It wouldn't really make sense for 2 since 2 already has sanity check to prevent hypermodern weapons from existing. Funny thing, they could probably use a solution similar to what Xbox does and run their games in a virtual machine. It'd be harder to crack. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I guess in theory, if we wanted to be extra safe, we could run Borderlands like that in a virtual machine. But then, that's wasting your own PC resources. Actually runs in a container. To me, it feels like they're just taking the easy way out with what's it called, kernel level anti-cheat. Because just like, do we spend the time and energy making sure no one can abuse the system? Nah, we'll just slap on this huge band-aid, pat ourselves on the back, call it a day. But if the anti-cheat software checks if the system is in a VM, then bans people. Wait, so it bans people if they're running it in a VM or if they're not running it in a VM? Why is my audio crunchy? It bans them if they're running in a VM? Oh, okay. Hold on, my music is... I don't know if it's the song or my own Spotify. I think it's my Spotify bugging. At least for me, like the music would be playing and then it pauses for like a split second. But how does that work? Like, why would it ban them if they're running it in a VM? The reason they invest in kernel level anti cheat is newer cheat tools use kernel level. The only thing higher stack than kernel is hardware. Oh. So they just want like supreme authority over like everything. I guess they don't want anyone. Sounds lazy. I was watching a short on this was like a while back. I think it was Pirate Software. It was talking about how the anti-cheats thing worked. It was basically just monitoring behavior and be like, okay, bots behave like this, right? And then with that, they write their own system that automatically detects that behavior, bans them, rather than the whole kernel level anti-cheat. I think yeah, I remember that short. It talked about like the bots will move like in a straight line. So what they did was at a common area, they put a rock like in the way between like point A and point B. So whenever they'd see like anyone just kind of stuck running against a rock, like face first, they're like, "Oh, this is a bot." Instantly ban them. That's like how they made like a trap, and that's how they'd catch them. That's a really creative way of finding out who is not a real person. Sorry, water went around the wrong way. That's not fun. On online only game, that's what they would do, but single player, they'd have to work on a local system. Who cares about anti cheat on a single player game that's offline? Multiplayer, it makes sense, right? Because you don't want other people, you don't want the experience ruined for other people who are not cheating, you know? There's nothing worse than just having you're just playing a game, some person shows up with like 10,000% health, one shots you, and then decimates your entire team, leaves. That sucks. But if you're playing a single player game, and then you have your cheat codes and infinite money and all of that stuff, and you're having a great time, who cares? You bought the game. You can ruin your own experience if you want, so long as it doesn't affect others. Why not? You know, I personally don't like cheat codes in games like GTA. Like, I'd never use them. But I understand it's fun for some people, especially like if they finish the game and just want to cause like chaos. I'm talking like single player mode. See, that makes sense. But yeah, like you would okay. It makes sense to stop cheat codes in something like a multiplayer game because then everything becomes chaotic and terrible for everyone involved. But single player, I don't know, leave people be. I don't know how else to put it. I used to use Game Genie on all NES games once I beat them to mess around. Yeah, see, you beat the game, you had your fun, you would have put the game aside, probably never played it again. But you messed around with it, you had new fun, and you got more out of that game. I feel like we should reset the internet by at least 10 years and keep it at that. It was not perfect, sure, but I think it was a lot better than this. I keep seeing more and more videos pop up about the dead internet theory. So I think more and more people are becoming aware of what it is. Either that or it's just my algorithm. But they are recent videos, rather than I start to see a lot more of a single topic and they're all like from years ago. It's not that. The game was not beatable in. Wait, hold on. It was fun with Super Mario 3 to start and stay as Frog Mario. The game was not beatable in that state, or at least I got soft luck out because of it. Oh. But hey, you had your fun. See, messing around with it, I feel like if you own the game, that's your business. This is my philosophy. If you're not bothering anyone, shrugs vaguely. If you're having fun, not bothering anyone, why should they care? Ooh, imagine something like The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, where they're like, oh, we want to put anti-cheat, single player game. No mods exist as a result. That game would have died in like 2012. I think the modding community is what kept it alive. The only community that I think would care about anti-cheat is the speedrun community. Yeah, I guess from there they have like some incentive. But other than that, like, I don't know. Ooh, there was that one Minecraft speedrunner who was cheating, right? And he did it in like the slyest way. So basically, to speedrun Minecraft, you need to get like Eye of Ender. You know, kill Enderman, get Ender Pearl, throw it, find the end portal, blah blah blah. So I saw there was like a huge case where so many people kind of banded together with like evidence saying like this person is cheating on his speedruns, because like it's really hard to, in quotes, cheat on a speedrun because people are watching you live, especially if it's like streamed or something. But yeah, apparently the way he was cheating was he tweaked the drop rate of ender pearls. And part of like the case against him was math saying he has killed these many endermen and they dropped these many pearls, and like they did a whole bunch of statistics and like the likelihood of that happening, and you know, it was a whole thing. And yeah, it was wild. People, the speedrunning community takes things really really seriously. It's like a 1 in 5 million chance, or worse. Yeah, and they're like, math proves that you're cheating even if we don't see anything more than that. They're like, there's no way you're this lucky. Because I think if it was a one speedrun thing, they would have been like, okay, highly unlikely, but not impossible. But then it started happening like every single speedrun, and they're like, something fishy is up. I think that creator is doing a comeback as a VTuber, or at least debut as one. Yeah, unless someone did something like really horrible, I think all they need to do is take like a year or two vacation in quotes and then come back, and they may not have like the numbers they did when they left, but they will still have like a sizable portion which they can rebuild. So I'm not surprised in the slightest. Is that the strat every time someone gets cancelled? Disappear and come back as a VTuber? Their issue could have been a mistake of a mod for a multiplayer running on single player mode. Yeah, but you know, I'm not the judge. I don't know what happened. I know vaguely of the story. I think I watched a short about it. I don't even know if it was a short, but I watched something about it, like a just TLDR. And yeah, that's basically all I know. It was statistically unlikely. All that can be done is to judge what happened, not how it happened. Yeah. Either way, at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me and life goes on, so there's more important problems to worry about. So whether he cheated or not, like, I don't really care. Ow. I see these things like, for example, like whenever drama or anything happens, I see them not from an emotional standpoint where I'm like, oh my god, that's awful. I'm just out of curiosity, you know? Kind of like someone shows up and be like, oh my god, you just would not believe what happened at work today. And then they start yapping about people you've never met. And you just go, oh, that's vaguely interesting. Yeah. That's the way like I view a lot of internet drama. I like the videos going over the evidence to show how enthusiastic people are. Yeah, people are feral, especially when it comes to like niche communities, right? Usually, the smaller and more niche it is, the more feral the people are. For better or for worse. They're self policing, yeah. But you know, the problem with like self policing is, you know, mob justice forms very quickly. Because, like, at the end of the day, sure, the guy cheated at, like, speedrunning. If that's his biggest crime, like, is it really that big of a deal? Okay, say, like, it was for a tournament, it was for money. Okay, banned. Problem solved. It is for that community. Yeah, but the thing about internet communities is they will see, like, the smallest thing and be like, they deserve the guillotine. So, yeah, I kind of, I'm the kind of fan, right? I'm the kind of fan who I love things, but I typically don't love the fandoms. I enjoy things from a distance, and I will talk to people who also like it. Like if, say, I encounter someone who has similar interests, you know, we can strike up a conversation. But I don't seek out the fandoms because usually, yeah, not the best experiences. It takes away from the achievement of someone who didn't cheat. True, it's a shitty thing to do, but it's not exactly a crime. You know, it is legal to be a douche, is all I'll say. And I think people forget that on the internet. Usually, if someone is like unpleasant, you just shrug and be like, oh, that guy sucks. And then you move on with your life. But I don't think that really happens anymore, like online. Only game I ever did a speedrun on was Minesweeper. And at the time I tied for the record, but there's only thousands of people who tried. Oh, that's pretty cool. I don't think I've ever completed a game of Minesweeper here on stream. What I used to do during the ad breaks was I just have a game of Minesweeper. As soon as the ads start running, I just pop up the game, start playing it while we wait for the ads to finish. But then I got kind of bored of it, and I would never win. So yeah. Eventually, people started doubting my intelligence. I was like, I can't have that. But in all honesty, I just kind of got bored of it because I realized there's a good chunk of people who don't have the ads. So I beat easy in 5 to 6 seconds and expert in the low team. That is insane. Give me 5 to 6 minutes, I probably still won't beat it. I know how the rules work, but I don't think I have the patience to get good at it. I think it's looking pretty good. We just need the physics. Because right now it's still a little bit stiff. You know, surprisingly, we're productive today. How does that feel? I forgot this thing. Okay, we're almost done. This is my favorite part about the models. Making him squishy. Okay, let's test that out. Apparently, fastest time for beating all Bloodborne bosses glitchless is 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 39 seconds. How? By refusing to have a life outside of the game. You just have to really be into it, you know? I could never. It's one of those things you can only achieve if you're like super hyper fixated. It takes me 50 minutes just to kill the first two bosses. And that's without dying. Well, watch a speedrun, see how they do it. There's usually some little tips or tricks on, you know, solving. Because I saw there was I think it was a Dark Souls speedrun. What they do is there's some boss that they kind of just bait into falling off a cliff. And that seemed to like save them a ton of time. Iron Golem, probably. Perhaps. I've never played, so I have no idea what that is. Oh, you mean the boss they trick? Yeah, I don't know. You probably know more than I do. I'm a little sleepy, but I want to finish this model today. What is interesting is the hitless Soulsborne ring where they have no hit every Soul's Bloodborne. Do you mean they finished the game without, like, getting hit? Because for a second I thought you meant they don't hit an enemy. Oh, they just find some way to cheesy. Yeah, for every game back to back. Oh, okay. Huh. Imagine you're in the last game, the last boss, and then through pure chance, something happens. A bug flies into your eye, and then you get hit, and now you have to start all over. I just throw the console out the window. I think they updated the title to handle Elden Ring for all games competition. These can be 8-hour runs. That is insane. Like, that takes a huge amount of dedication. Most Sane Souls players. Okay, I'm gonna stop you there. I don't think there are any Sane Souls players that exist, you know? I'm just putting that out there. You should be aware. I'm perfectly sane. That's what they all say. I personally like watching the challenge runners of Souls games. They're usually insane. See, exactly. I feel like there's a certain level of masochism involved. But then again, I never really played them, so this is like outside looking in. Deathless, Bloodborne's hard, my best aim 82. I don't know the game, so I don't know if that's impressive or not. You'll have to tell me. Congratulations or my condolences, depending on your response. I saw a video that went over the phenomenon of Dark Souls cured my depression. It's very interesting. I guess it makes sense, because if you're like depressed, you feel kind of... How do you say this? Like nothing matters, and in some cases, just like helplessness. Maybe you're in a situation where there's nothing you can do about it. So by playing a game where it's constantly beating you down, and then you just keep getting back up and fighting it until eventually you win, could be therapeutic. So it does kind of make sense. Second to last boss of the game. Ah, congratulations then. That sounds impressive. I died because I cannot parry to save my life. Sounds rough. Some people think it's funny that to relax I play a hard game like Dark Souls. I mean, to each their own. Because to me, when I want to relax, I do something that is a very slow paced, you know, like Wild Mendo or Minecraft, that kind of game. You know, just building your farm or this and that. That's how I relax. But you know, everyone is different. Been thinking of buying it. Just need to see if PS4 and controller still works. Fingers crossed. Sometimes these things just die. I say old age, but corrosion is usually the thing that gets them. Like if it's just sat somewhere, depending on where you live, like if it's a very humid place, yeah, those things can usually rust before you know it. I have temperature humidity sensors around my house so I can keep it under control. Ah, okay. I don't know if the sleepy music is helping me slowly doze off. It has been a long day. I realize I have a lot of October commissions. So I need to speedrun getting through them. Fortunately, we are way ahead of schedule. I think after this one, I have two more mascot models, and I'm basically done for September. And the month has just begun, so you know that's kind of impressive. I'm just patting myself on the shoulder. But speaking of which, when it comes to VGen, they have They have two payment systems essentially. They have PayPal where, it's just done through PayPal. You can either take it 100% upfront in payment plans, yada yada yada. You control how you want it to be. They do have this other system where if the person wants to pay with card, I think they use Stripe, but it goes through VGen. So like the money goes to VGen, they hold it, and then once the commission is like complete, only then VGen releases the funds to you. So just today or yesterday, I can't remember, I finished one which was kind of funded through that way, and commission was complete, shipped it out, and all that stuff. They loved it. I haven't gotten the money yet. According to VGen, like they have it, but I don't know. I don't know how they release it. So I'm kind of curious of like, does the client have to like check a box that says, this guy says it's complete. Are you happy with it? If yes, then I get the money. I don't know. I'm kind of curious. This is the first time I've ever used that system. Because I usually just take PayPal. But yeah, VGen's evolving. I think this feature was always there. I just never used it. But yeah, I think it's nicer to have multiple payment plans because, maybe not everyone has PayPal. And I don't want that to be like the reason someone doesn't commission me. They'll be like, oh, I loved your things, but I only have card. So yeah, most still use PayPal, but I think there's like 4 of them that have used that card system. Hi, Goldie. Welcome on in. Feather doesn't like the method for fighting the true final boss of Bloodborne. Who is the true final boss of Bloodborne? I've consumed an umbilical cord. I'm one step closer to being able to fight the moon god. Yeah, I remember the lore being strange that way. I just got hit in the head by a brick troll. Yeah, getting hit by bricks, that sounds awful. I can't relate whatsoever. The moon god is the true final boss? Ah. Ow. Hey, you didn't give me any warning. I have a dodge button now. See? Just gotta be fast. Well, now you can relate. Touche. But hi, Goldie. How's it going? How's the rigging going? We have actually had a productive day today. I am almost done. I'm doing fine. That's good to hear. That's pretty amazing. Thank you. I was hoping to actually finish it off stream, but I was doing other stuff. There is another one. The art is ready. Like, I just need to start rigging it. Like, I did the art off stream. And there's another one that's like halfway done. Those are the last ones for September. I do want to work on this other full body model that I have going. It's supposed to be a horror themed model, which I've never done before, but I've always wanted to. So yeah, we'll have to see how that turns out. I'm still like in the planning stages of it, like cutting up the layers, seeing how the pose is, seeing like how I wanna arrange things for rigging later. Oh, we're being raided. Hi, Nun. Welcome on in. How's it going? Guys are doing art. Ooh, what were you drawing? / rigging. There is no live to the category on Twitch. I think it's a bit too niche for that. But hi, welcome raiders. Wait, hold on. We need to be professional, cat. Hi, welcome on in. I am Ordikai. I am purple, I am cat, I am wizard. I have dice, it jiggles, and you can roll it. Hold on, where is this thing? Yeah. For all the Baldur's Gate fans here. You can roll it and it rolls a random number each time. Throw bricks at Ordi. Don't tell them. That's actually super cool. Thank you. Everything here is drawn and rigged by me. We're working on this little guy. So Peak, thank you. This is by far the absolute best thing I have ever rigged, and I don't think I could ever top this. I actually have a whole graph detailing how it works because it's like crazy complex. But yeah, if any of you stick around, you will see it in the future. I don't want to scare off any of the newcomers with all the technical talk, but hi, welcome on in. I was super joyous seeing a live 2D stream. I love rigging. Well, I am infamous for forgetting to do the actual rigging and end up yapping for like 3 hours. But yeah, today we've actually been very productive. This guy's almost done. We just need the physics for his body. But yeah, he's super squishy. And you can stick his tongue out. Oh, but that's kind of broken. I need to fix that. Ta-da! So what are you guys up to? Draw anything interesting? Worked on a pixel chibi. Oh, those are pretty cool. I kind of suck at pixel art. So all the little sprites you see down here at the bottom of the screen, yeah, they were made by someone else. Did a great job. You know, these little guys. This is a problem. They're super cute. I love pixel art. I got into it recently. Thank you. I did like I drew them, right? But I didn't know how to animate them. So I was doing it like on stream. Like we are making it together as a community. They're throwing their ideas at me, and I was like, okay, what if we do this? And eventually one of them is like, look, I have experience making sprites. Give me the thing. I'll take care of the rest. And yeah. Ori, have you had a client who's like, yeah, I got no money for now and gotta wait? How long can you wait until you or they give up? If the money doesn't... Okay, like if they don't have the money, the commission hasn't started anything. Like, for example, if they're like, oh, I don't have the money, but hopefully by like next month I get it. I'm like, that sounds great. You can put in the commission request. I send them like the invoice and I forget about it. I don't think about it at all. If I see like the deadline is like coming up, maybe I reach out and ask them about it. extend it if they want. But if not, I just don't think about it. To me, in my mind, it's not a commission. It's someone who has a dream. Because there are a lot of people who they're super okay, they're like super interested in getting the thing, but maybe when the time comes they like change their mind, which is why as an artist it is super important to get paid before you start any work, because you could do like all of the work and then at the end they're like, actually I think I'd rather keep the money, and then they just vanish. And then you have done the work, you've spent the time into it, and then yeah, you're the only one who loses. You can try recouping the cost by selling the work that you've already done, maybe as a pay to use model or just pre-made thing. But I think it's very rare to actually sell that, because most people want like custom designs. I do have a few of those. Actually, okay, here's a crazy story. Not crazy, but weird. Now, usually, there are some people who. How do you say this? What are the words? Yeah, you know how I say you always have to get paid upfront because sometimes people can just run away and decide not to pay you? There was actually a case where I got paid upfront as usual. I finished the model, and then I tried sending it to them, and there was no response. And I was like, huh, do they like not want it? I actually checked back again like several months later. They still have not opened the message. And they applied through like VGen. So, and they don't have like any other socials. They're like only the VGen account. So I was like, I have no way of reaching this person, and they just haven't opened the message. But if they really wanted it, they will think, I paid a couple $100 for a mascot. Why did I get it? They'll open VGen and see like it's there. But nope, not at all. Like, yeah, I don't know what happened to them, but I'm glad I took the money up front. So yeah, if you're an artist, super important. Either use something like VGen where, how do you say this? If the client pays, they pay VGen, and then everything is done, then you get the money. So like someone, the money is given upfront. Or if you use something like PayPal and you don't want to take 100% upfront, at least take 50. At least then they've invested something into it, so they're less likely to run away, or change their mind. So the artist can wait until I pay. Yeah, you could just be like, hey, I'd love to commission you, but I can't. When I get the money, I'll come back to you. You can just talk to them like that. Or if they're like a someone like kind of well, um, as a favor, they could probably start if they're not busy. Like for example, if someone I was like very familiar with like asked, and they'd be like, "Oh, I can only pay like after a month," I'd be like, "Yeah, no worries. I would probably start early, truth be told. But if it's like a complete stranger that I have no idea who they are, I never heard of them, never interacted with them, or anything like that, then I'd be like, I'll wait till the money comes, because they are like, I think in my years as an artist, I think I've only had like 3 or 4 cases where someone is like, "Ooh, I want this." They make the commission request and everything, and then they just disappear. Don't their patients grow thin? They have a wait list. Oh, that's why I say, like, don't be on the wait list. Don't commission them. Just say like, I want to commission you. I'll get back to you later, and then that's that. Rather than having promises of like, oh, I'll pay you later. I'll pay you later, and things like that. At the same time, I don't think the artist will really mind. So, don't stress too much about it. They understand. So usually, I will pay when I have the funds. Yeah, just make sure you word it in a way that like, oh, I'll commission you later because right now I don't have the money. Rather than making it sound like you want them to start and then you'll pay them in the future. Time for easiest boss in Dark Souls. Again, never. Sorry, Bloodborne. I misread it. But yeah, in my mind as an artist, if what's it called? If they haven't paid, then the commission does not exist. Maybe the invoice does, and like on VGen it's like listed there as unpaid. But in my mind, I don't start it unless like they pay, because it's far too easy for them to just vanish. And sure, maybe they have like a following on Twitter, and you can be upset there, but that's a whole hassle, and no one has time for that. And just any negativity is not good. So yeah, you can just politely be like, yeah, sure, that's great. I take at least something up front, and that's respectable. Because they are art scammers on both sides. They are art scammers who are pretending to be artists, and others who are pretending to be clients trying to get like free art. So yeah, you gotta be careful. So I don't know what happened here. Tradition of not dying to Vicar Amelia continues. Well, it sounds like you're having fun. Oh, that's why it's warped. How do I fix this? You know what? I'm going to just take the complicated route. Okay. This is probably overkill. But I'm not bothered to do it the correct way in quotes. I'm a very strong advocate of good enough. But yeah, oops. But yeah, hopefully Goldie, you get your art soon. I know you're very excited about that. Oh God, I have to do this. The moral of this, okay, the moral of this story is I charge extra for tongue now. But it's okay. They had a good budget, so I don't mind. My most embarrassing moment was when I beat Vicar Amelia hitless, then died. I don't know who any of these people are. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. No, but you did say you died, so I imagine bad. Okay, we're almost done. I promise. We're gonna finally finish a model on stream. This hasn't happened since, like, ever. Did you know, okay, did you know when I first started streaming, when I was focused more on the art rather than the yapping, I actually would complete like one model per stream. And then there was the other time where I would spend like 6 streams working on the same model. How times have changed. Okay, this isn't perfect, but neither am I, so... No one zooms in close enough to tell anyway. This is a very inefficient way of fixing it, by the way. But hey, we do what we have to. It's inefficient, but I feel like figuring out the proper way to do it will probably just take more time. So yeah, we just speedrun this. I was hoping to have finished it by today, but I will settle, you know, by tonight, so... Ooh, and tomorrow I think I'll be playing Baldur's Gate with Feather, but I don't know if I'll be streaming it. Or if anyone will be streaming it. We'll have to see. Because we're talking about, you know, hanging out and doing something. But we also considered, you know, maybe just like offline, just hanging out. So I don't know. But then again, when I stream like in the morning, I think it's very rare for any of the usual people to show up, because like it's a crazy different time slot. It's like 12 hours before my usual stream time. So it is understandable. I get a lot of new faces there, but they usually show up like once, because you know that's like their time slot for viewing things. So it's very rare to see them jump across to my usual streaming time. Yeah, that's just something I noticed. I guess like that's one of the important things about streaming like consistently. Because if you're always at like the same time, then it's usually the people who are available at that time will keep popping up. Although different streaming at different times could be useful if you're trying to reach like a different set of people. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into streaming. Is anyone here a live 2D artist? If so, please don't judge me. And if none of you are, guys, I'm doing everything correctly. This is not a shabbily cobbled together thing. Trust and believe. You know, that's one of the things about a live 2D rigging. The end result, if it looks good, doesn't really matter how the process was done, so long as the outcome works. But the way I'm doing it is like very horribly inefficient. Meowdy popped in just to say hi as I'm watching the BL series with Crush after getting back from the hospital. Ah. Someone's hanging out with their crush and decided to brag to us. Congratulations, we're happy. Also, you said getting back from the hospital. You okay? Just checking. I tore my tendon in my right arm. Ow. How'd that happen? If you don't mind us asking. But if you do have to get back to, your crush, don't let us get in the way. Hope you have fun. I overworked myself at the gym. Yeah, you gotta be careful. A good rule of thumb is just because your muscles can lift it doesn't mean your tendons can. Because your muscles strengthen way faster than your tendons. So, gotta take it easy. He can't hear you, luckily. Yeah, I bet the rest of you are envious as well. Forced to listen to me. I kid. He's so cute too. I'll take your word for it. Okay, we have fixed the tongue, so... Sorry, while I was showing off to the raiders the jiggliness, I realized the tongue was broken. But it should be fine now. See? Fun fact, I can barely move my right arm. Are you right-handed by any chance? 90% chance that you are. If you are, that's awesome because now you can't throw bricks at me because, that's your throwing arm. Yeah, I'm right. I don't hit myself while opening a fridge. Is that tongue... Ow. Is that tongue going to be a toggle, going to be tracked? This one will be a toggle. Tracked is a bit more advanced, and this is a simple mascot. So yeah, they just want to stick the tongue out occasionally. Also for tracking a tongue, I think you need to use like vBridger, which feels like a bit of overkill for a mascot model. I was just wondering, I've seen models with that and wasn't sure how it'll be done. You just need a parameter that says tongue out and then you connect it to that one. Like for this one, I have like toggle tongue, but this one just makes it transparent. If I wanted to make it trackable, hold on, let me show you. If I wanted to make it trackable, this is what I'd do. Let's open the mouth. And this is our tongue, right? Say this is our tongue. What I would do is I would shrink this down actually. Maybe like this. And maybe set this here. Hold on, I'm narrating to myself. But it'll make sense when I'm done. I'll do something like that. This is very shoddily done. Imagine the texture is working. So that when someone like sticks out their tongue, the more it comes out, the more it sticks like this. Does that make sense? But this is all unnecessary because, um, it's just going to be a simple toggle. But yeah, this is basically how it works. And then usually I have a button that says when you push this button over here on the left, it says this thing goes from 0 to 1, and then now your tongue sticks out. But if it had to be tracked, there is a parameter in VBridger where if you stick out your tongue, it says, oh, the tongue is sticking out, and it can even see like the scale at which the tongue is out. So, it is possible. I know how to do it. It is a bit of a headache, so I would only do that for more advanced VTuber models. Definitely not a mascot. A mascot is supposed to be something I quickly make and throw out in like a couple hours. That's why they're like so cheap, because like everything is like super simple. Like this one is a little bit more advanced, which means like the head and the body has its own physics. And that is like 2 to 3 times more than what the other ones would be like, you know? Because simple, like for example, the simple ones like the sheep, it only has like one physics layer. The squishy one. So yeah, very quick to do, but still, it looks great for the amount of time put in. That was one of the main things I needed to learn to do when I was making mascot commission. I'm like, I need to make them standardized and like mass produced, right? Super easy, super quick, so I can just like pump them out. Because like $100 for like art and rigging is, from like the artist's perspective, not a lot of money. But I'm thinking that I can quickly, if I can make so many of them, even though like per model is the cost is low, I can pump out enough of them for it to be profitable. And yeah, actually mascots have made me the most money compared to like everything else combined. Lurk, gotta go back to Cute Crush, gonna leave a lurk. Thanks for lurking, Kay. I think that was a while back, so you may not hear this. It's pretty cool, thank you. Sounds complicated, would be bad for people who lick lips. I think if someone licks their lips, it'll just like randomly stick out the tongue and then stick back in. So it would be like the wildest thing. Yeah, it wouldn't be too bad because I'm just trying to think of the logistics. There are times like models do like weird things because someone moves like in a weird way. Like for example, if I move my hand in front of my face or like I scratch my nose, it kind of freezes like that and then it like pops free. So yeah, most people don't think too much about it. They won't be like, "Oh, you stuck your tongue out for a split second. What's up with that?" Actually, if for like large creators, that is an issue sometimes because you get like strange people who pop in. In fact, I was watching a stream right now, and it was GDARP. This is a streamer who they have a large chat, but the chat is watching everything unfold like a soap opera, right? They invest in the story. They know the streamer is not going to talk to them, and they're not interested in talking to each other. So everyone's like sitting back with popcorn watching, and then like someone just pops in. I see, and they're like, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And they start like striking up a conversation with like this, trying to start a conversation up with the streamer, and they're like, "So what are we doing today, guys?" and all this stuff. You do get some people like that in the sense that what's it called? They started asking like oddly specific questions about what their favorite something something was, even though it's like not really relevant to what is going on. So yeah, usually that tends to happen with larger, what's it called? Larger creators, I think. It's okay like in a smaller community because like people would probably be there to like have a conversation, chat back, it's like a lot more manageable. But if someone is like super locked into something, or there's like chat that's going super super fast, yeah, I don't think it'll. Sorry, I even forgot what my original point was. Yeah, my point being is it'll probably be a minority of people who would be doing that. So I don't think it's an actual issue because it's a teasing point. Hmm. Depends on the chat. There are some where teasing is like super welcome. Others it's kind of just like shunned a little bit. I did see actually same streamer. I think someone had mentioned something like that. Like I think their model did something weird, and someone was like, why did this is this?" And they kind of just called an out, and they're like, "I'm not looking at my model. I don't know what it's doing." Blah 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 blah. Kind of just shutting it down very sternly. Anyway, we got sidetracked. We're almost done with this thing. Yeah, sometimes tech has a mind of its own. True. But usually I find it's the only people who are very stern like that are maybe the larger creators who have heard like the exact same thing like 10,000 times from 10,000 different people. So yeah, they shut it down very quickly. I did remember I was in like someone's art stream, and they really don't like okay, they have like a very attractive model, and I think one of the rules is like no sexualizing them and all that stuff. And then someone just came in. I think they just wrote the word "mommy?" question mark. That person went off on like a 10-minute angry rant about like absolutely hating that, and you would see it as like, oh, this person just sent like one message, like why are they crashing out? But from the perspective of the streamer, they've probably seen that like 10,000 times. So yeah. Speaking of strange people in chat, solicitors, and I don't think they're bots. I think they're just people, but they're the kind who they try to sell you stuff. Yeah, because we raided into Katana stream yesterday, and while I was hanging out there, someone popped in, started talking about some stuff, normal conversation, and then randomly they go, "Oh, I'm actually an artist, and I have so many great ideas for your model if you're interested in hearing." And they're like, "Yep, there it is." They tried selling their stuff, and that's what I noticed the trend is like lately. Before it's just like "Hey, I'm an artist. Here's the thing." Immediately, everyone just shuns them aside. And now they start a conversation. They start pretending to be like maybe they're a new chatter or someone who's interested, blah blah blah, that kind of stuff. And then once they feel like they have established a rapport, they're no longer a random stranger, then they pounce. Yeah, they target smaller creators. I've been making a block list. Yeah, that list might be. Is there a limit to the size of block lists? That thing's gonna be crazy long. There's way too many of them. And sometimes they're impersonators. Maybe not so much on Twitch, but I did see on Discord. Someone was pretending to be a mid-sized streamer, and they wanted to just get to know other artists and stuff. And then they talked about like their early days, like, yeah, it was hard being with like 0 viewers, but yeah, I remember I used this service. I can't remember what it was. Oh, you'll have to check them out yourself. They're pretending they didn't know what it was to make it feel like, oh, this is just something. And then you get curious, you check it out. It's like, this person is somewhat successful. If it worked for them, it might work for me. And then you start paying for view bots. Yeah, be very cautious. If someone just randomly reaches out and starts like a conversation, my guard immediately goes up because I'm like, what do they want? They didn't immediately ask for commission, so I don't think they're a potential client. There is always the chance that someone is like, oh, maybe they want to network and get to know people. I feel like that's a little odd, but not too uncommon. I felt like the best way is, you just hang out in chats, get to know people a little bit through there, and yeah. It's the same tactics that fake businesses use after hailstorms in my area. Ah. What exactly did they try to sell? Like a fake insurance or because you mentioned hailstorms. So I imagine it has something to do with that. Roof repair? Ah. I feel like those kinds of sale tactics are a little bit predatory in the sense that the people they would profit off the most are usually the ones that struggle to say no or are maybe like a little bit too polite, in my opinion. Ooh, I actually added that as an official rule now. I think it's in the chat one. I don't think I added it in the description. Yeah, crap. It's when new people come in, they click it, agree to the rules, yada, 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 before they're allowed to chat. Yeah, I have a no white knighting one. With it has the extra information. It says, I'm polite, not helpless. I feel like it's happened enough times that I need to make an official rule about it. Because at least then, if I give a warning, there's like a rule to link to. Like it's already there, if that makes sense. It felt a bit extreme. I never thought that I would ever need something like that, but hey. Yeah, it actually happened the last time I was playing a game with Feather. This was it wasn't my usual streaming time. It was, yeah, it was about like 12 hours from now. Just flip the AM to PM or PM to AM, wherever you are. So around that time. So yeah, usually those streams, since they're like shared chats, they're larger. So people are more likely to trickle in because, you're higher up in discoverability. So I usually get like a lot of strangers, and yeah, some of them they pop in. Feather's like he's Australian, so he swears a lot, is loud, insulting in a banter way that is like fine. But some people they see me as like, a bit more quiet, a bit more polite, and then they see this person angrily yelling and screaming and, things like that. So like they rush to the rescue, and then I don't think I like that. I thought it was a one-off thing and was ready to just like ignore it, but I'm like, this keeps happening. It's one of those things like one of those rules I don't think I'll ever need unless like a very specific case where it happens again, I can immediately issue a warning, immediately shut it down. Okay, we're gonna do a pro gamer move and simply just copy and paste this. Okay, we're almost done. This will save us the trouble of what's it called? Rigging the back legs. Okay, there we are. I forgot to make a... Oops. Now he's a bouncy little boy. I think, I don't know. Sometimes they gender them, sometimes they don't. Because I'm used to them being like the chat one, but sometimes they have mascots. Like, they're not chat, they're just like, they're an actual mascot, not a chat sona, I think is the word. I don't think many people use that phrase, but I remember back then that's what it was called. Because sometimes people have they would have like the chat and what the chat looks like, and then they have like their own mascot. That's like a whole separate thing. I don't know what they're called, but I did hear someone call them chatsona once. So I'm like, I think. Okay. We can finish with this and we can call it a day. Hi, Kay. Ordy, please. I'm used to groveling, yes. Kill me? No. You throw a lot of bricks here. Your torment will be extended. In fact, I give you immortality. It has adult scenes. I mean, most shows do. But I guess it is a bit strange watching it with just play it cool, ignore it, pretend you can't see it. Or if you could just fast forward. I don't think anyone would mind. So immortality is a curse depending on the person. If the person is, suffering, yeah, you kind of just extend that suffering. But if they're like a very ambitious person, it would be seen more as a gift. Or someone who likes to do things and feels like they don't have enough time, yeah. See, the ones you love turn to ash, a curse would be. Yeah, everyone says that, but at the end of the day, it'll be like owning pets. Except, humans. Like, oh, I like this thing. He won't be around forever, but, I love them anyway. I think that's the way that I'd see it. Because, like, if you own pets, like, you will be there for their whole life, but, they won't be there for yours. Unless you get, like, a turtle, and that's a whole different issue. Okay. It looks fine. The head bounces a little higher than I would like, but it's okay. Let's see if that fixes it. Yeah. But yeah, the whole immortality is a curse, yada yada yada. I don't think so. It's a different what's it called? A way of living. But I don't think it's like a terrible thing. I feel like it just expands on what is already there. Like if you're already miserable, immortality will just make you miserable for longer. But if you're very like happy and content in life, life goes on. His head needs to rotate. We're almost done. Yeah, I feel like that's something most people don't get, like when it comes to books or just even hypothetical immortality. It's neither good nor bad. I think it just expands on what is there. Kind of like relationships. If you are if you're miserable single, you'll probably be miserable in a relationship. The only difference is your misery will kind of just, worst case scenario, infect the other person, and then you're both miserable, and then that makes it even worse. So, I don't subscribe to the notion of some people going like, oh, if I was in a relationship, all my problems would be fixed. Yeah, I've seen it make problems worse. Very rarely make it better. Maybe in the case of that person is very charitable and they want to, like help you go through your stuff, but I think that's kind of a little unfair. I don't recommend doing that. I am someone who believes everyone should, kind of learn to deal with their things. Get help if you need, but at the end of the day, assistance is very different from wanting someone to do it for you. So, that's the way that I think about it. Ooh, they wanted a sleep toggle. See, you see this thing here? This is a little market that I had. Yeah, they wanted a sleep idle. I'll have to do that later. It takes a bit of brain power. Ooh, and making them breathe. I should do that. Ta-da! Okay, final checking. So, what are we thinking? Looking good. Mm, okay, there we are. Yep, I think it looks good. See, the tongue is perfectly fine now. The only person who would have been able to detect my shame would be probably another artist. There we are. Yep, I think it looks good. The model is done. Guys, we did it. We have finished the model on stream. Yeah, nothing seems to break, so it's all good. I think I will do the what do you call it? I think I'll do the sleeping animation, or like the idle one, tomorrow. So yeah, hopefully I remember. So I think that is where we're gonna call it today. Okay, who do we know this live? Do we know anyone? Yeah, it's fine. We can just call it a night. So, thanks everyone for stopping by. Hope you had a great time. It was a bit of a quieter, chill stream. I was kind of tired today. Not sure why, but hopefully I'll have the weekend to rest. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. So yeah, bye bye. I can also just slowly sink down. and vanish. Have a great evening. Thank you, you too. Bye-bye. I really need an ending soon screen.